Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a new indie house called Hez Parfums. Alright, so today we are taking a look at Hez Parfums, a new indie fragrance house that's reached out to me on Instagram, wanted me to check out some of their fragrances, let them know what I thought about it, do a review on them, and give you guys my honest opinion, and that's what you guys are going to get, is my honest opinion of these Hez fragrances. So they sent me 4 fragrances to test out. We're going to go through all 4 real quick here, let you know what I think, and we're going to go from there. So links will be down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these out, and let's quit screwing around, and let's get into it. Alright, so first up from Hez Parfums, we're going with Café Benet. Now this one, as the name might suggest, is a really nice coffee style of fragrance. Has a little bit of like a cafe au lait sort of vibe going on to it, so it's not like a roast coffee necessarily. Has that kind of sweet, artisanal, $8 Starbucks kind of drink going on to it. Brown sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, that coffee note, as well as some sandalwood, as well as some cacao and some iris that's mixed in there. Just the right level of sweetness to this, even though it has that brown sugar in there, that vanilla as well. It has a little bit more of a creaminess, and that sweetness is just dialed down and balanced off against that coffee note really well. The sandalwood in here pokes through a little bit. There is a little touch of wood that's there, but it more adds kind of a softness to it and a creaminess to that vanilla as well. The cacao pokes through in the dry down a little bit, adding that little bit of a chocolatey accord, but for the most part, what you're getting is this nice, creamy, silky style of coffee, like sitting on a beautiful cafe on a beautiful day, just kind of watching the world go by, enjoying the finer things in life. That's the sort of vibe you get from this one. Really nice balance of the sweet accords, has that coffee note in there, giving it that cafe sort of vibe going on to it. Performance on this is pretty good. I get about 6-7 hours off my skin, get some of my clothing, and it definitely pushes into the next day. And the scent bubble on this is pretty good. It does project fairly well for the first 2 hours before it does settle back in. So overall, if you're looking for a really nice, sweet, creamy coffee style of fragrance, you might want to check this one out. That's Hez Parfums Café Benet. All right, next up from Hez Parfums, we're going with Plum Comfort. Now this one actually caught me off guard a little bit. I was expecting this to be a very kind of fun, fruity, playful style of vibe based off of this being a plum forward fragrance, but there's a little bit more to it than that. Has plum, cinnamon, nutmeg that's mixed in there. In the mid you get this honey, this tobacco, and in the base is some guaiac wood, some amber, as well as some oud. So it makes for a very interesting combination of sweet accords along with this smoky, warm, dry, woody accord from that guaiac and that amber wood coming through, along with that tobacco as well. So it has that fruity plum that's in there, and it mixes with that warm spiciness, so it gives it a little bit of that fun, playful vibe with that sweetness. But then that guaiac wood moves in and it gives us this very bold, masculine, smoky, dry wood sort of vibe going on to it, with this like warm, thick, sugary honey sort of drizzled over top of that honey tobacco. So it has that honey tobacco vibe, has that fruity plum vibe going on to it with some warm spices, but you really get this nice, bold, masculine, smoky style of wood accord that comes through, very dry, but just contrasts really nicely with that fruit accord. Bold, masculine, but has this underlying playful side to it. Very interesting, very unique. Just an overall interesting scent accord on this one. Performance on this is pretty good as well. 6-7 hours off my skin. It definitely sits on clothing well into the next day, and it does project fairly well before it does settle back in. Overall, if you're looking for a unique style of fragrance, something with a little bit of fruity fun, but also kind of that bold, masculine, dry, woody feel, this might be something you want to check out. That's Hez Parfums Plum Comfort. All right, next up from Hez Parfums, we have Daiquiri Original. Now this one is just so much fun. This is just daiquiri in a bottle through and through. Has this orange, has a little bit of blueberry that's in there, has some gin, some rum, some cognac that's mixed in there as well. Orange blossom, this Mysore wood as well, and a little bit of musk that's moved in there. But through and through, right off the jump, what you get is you get this nice zesty orange vibe going on. A little bit of that kind of white floral orange blossom that's in there. A little hint of that kind of berry sweetness as well. But it has this nice, clear, sharp, fizzy sort of vibe going on to it from those boozy accords that's in the mid. Mostly that gin. I get a lot of the gin vibe that's coming through with this. And in the base, you get a little bit of that woodiness, but it's a very creamy, smooth style of wood mixed with some musk. This is basically taking like an orange creamsicle and just dunking it in a big glass of gin. Has that mature sort of vibe with that boozy element to it, but it's also very fun and playful. Absolute summer banger for, you just can't get any better when it comes to summer vibes. Daiquiri in a bottle through and through. I love the fizziness, the effervescence that comes through, and I love that orange accord. Just the right level of sweetness and that zestiness that moves through. Not an overly sweet fragrance, Great balance of those scent accords and just super fun, playful, and energetic. Decent performance for a summer style fragrance. Like I said, 6-7 hours like the other ones off my skin. Get some on your clothing, you're gonna definitely push that out to the next day, and it does project fairly well for the first 2 hours before it does settle back in. If you're looking for some summertime fun and you like that orange daiquiri sort of accord, this is something you wanna check out. That's Hez Parfums Daiquiri Original. All right, last, certainly not least, it's probably my favorite of the bunch, and that's Hez Parfums Bourbon Street. Now this is just a beautiful, warm, rich, gourmand, masculine style of fragrance. Has this warm, spiced apple vibe going in the beginning. Apple, cinnamon, has some tobacco, bourbon, some nice tonka bean that works in there, as well as some vanilla and some sandalwood. Just a beautiful medley of the spices. It has a nice warmth to it, just the right touch of sweetness coming from that apple, from that vanilla and that tonka, and then you get that boozy bourbon accord, like dunking like a spiced apple in a nice glass of bourbon with some tonka moving through. A little wisp of that tobacco kind of going across the table as well. Nice smooth sandalwood in the base, giving it just a really nice foundation, a little bit of a woody foundation for that boozy, sweet, spicy accord to sit on. Beautiful, spicy, warm, gourmand style of fragrance. A very bold, very masculine, sexy, alluring, perfect casual and date night fragrance. Absolutely love this one. Great performance on this one. This is the best performing one off my skin. I get about 8 hours of longevity off this, and definitely get some on your clothes, and you're gonna have to wash the shirt style of fragrance. Projection on this, also very good. Does push out fairly well for the first 2 hours, a little bit longer before it does settle back in. Great performance, great scent accord. If you're into that more kind of that masculine, spicy, sweet, gourmand, boozy style of fragrance, this is absolutely worth checking out. That's Hez Parfums Bourbon Street. All right, so there you have it. That's 4 fragrances from the house of Hez Parfums, a new indie fragrance company. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with these ones. I think the quality is definitely there. I think they're really well blended. Definitely my favorite of the bunch is the Bourbon Street as well as the Daiquiri Original. I think those are just great fragrances. The Daiquiri Original, just a really fun summertime fragrance, and I think the Bourbon Street is just a nice, bold, masculine, gourmandy style of winter fragrance. So definitely enjoy those two. The other two are nice. They're just not necessarily my cup of tea when it comes to what I reach for fragrances. But if you're into coffee style fragrances, or if you're into that kind of like fruity, smoky wood style of fragrance, I think the Plum Comfort as well as the Cafe Benet are definitely worth checking out. So like I said, links will be down in the description if you decide you want to check out Hez Parfums. I believe they have some sampler kits on their website as well, so you can give it a little bit of a trial before you commit to a full bottle. But overall, I'm pretty impressed, and shout out to Hez Parfums for sending these out, letting me check them out. I did enjoy them. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.